I'm about to walk you guys through our complete Shopify growth plan. This is the same systematic approach I used to grow my previous company to 25 million, and the exact same structure that we do with other brands we partner with when we're scaling them to 8 figures and more. You see, most brands are just jumping around from one thing to the next. They try ads one month and then SEO and then get their toes wet with email. And there's no real methodological approach to scaling up their business. I'm gonna give you guys the exact structure and framework for what we use to scale businesses to 8 figures and beyond. This is gonna take the guesswork out of how to scale your business and give you a systematic approach for getting to 8 figures. Everything starts with the foundation. You can't build your skyscraper upwards until you have a rock solid foundation in place. And this starts with your store. I see many businesses who are already processing good sales. They could be doing up to 100K a month or more, but still not have the right foundation in place to really scale. So before you try to pour more leverage on it through typically ads, affiliate marketing, or SEO, the best thing to first do is make sure that you have a rock solid foundation in place. For me, this means starting with CRO. Make sure your website is fully optimized for your brand perception, the ability to convert, and to strategically optimize both the AOV and LTV of all your customers' interactions. The best way to do this is make sure that your website is fully optimized to enhance the customer's lifetime value and journey, as well as the overall brand perception and store performance. How we do this is taking brands through our e-commerce CRO checklist. I have a more complete video we can go more in depth into the sheet, but we run through the whole website from the general experience to the homepage, your landing pages, category pages, product page, and cart experience, and make sure each one of those components are fully optimized. The best analogy for this is if you have a leaky bucket, meaning you have items such as your checkout that isn't fully optimized, before you pour in more traffic from the top of the funnel via, again, paid ads, affiliate, SEO, you want to make sure you have as minimum or zero patches in your bucket. You have to remove those leaks before you look to scale. Again, this applies to businesses even if they're already doing 100K a month. You need to make sure that all the checklist is optimized, because everything you are pouring on top in terms of sending more traffic is going to still filter through the cracks if you don't have that fully patched up. Much like if you had a physical store, you would do things to optimize the perception of that environment. You wouldn't have a storefront with broken glass or an unattractive storefront layout to expect customers to come in. The first thing what you would do is make sure that you have a very inviting and welcome space that attracts the customers you want to come in and stick around. Because if you don't have that brand perception and the overall experience to really capture it, you're always going to be leaving money on the table for bringing in new customers. I see businesses do this all the time, where they'll try to jump straight into bringing in new customers before optimizing the foundation first. The way I would determine if a store was ready is I would first run them through our custom checklist. Again, this is going to cover all aspects. Do you have the landing pages optimized? Is the overall website experience? Is the cart function? Are you offering upsells? Are you pushing them to subscriptions? Are you really doing the things that are going to lead to maximum customer satisfaction and maximizing that LTV? Until those items are complete, I wouldn't even be thinking about steps 2 and 3 and beyond until I have that foundation secured in place. Once you have the storefront optimized, you're ready to start scaling. The best way to do this is focusing on your top of funnel traffic. My 2 favorite levers for doing this are with SEO and paid ads. Now, what strategy you decide to pursue is going to depend on a couple of things. It's going to depend on your competition, the competitive landscape, and your existing infrastructure to date. Typically, I compare it like this. SEO is playing the long-term game. That is brand equity that you're gradually building up and amassing, but it's generally more of a marathon. You're not acquiring that overnight. You're making gradual, incremental progress continuously. Paid ads, on the other hand, is more like a sprint. You can get it live and ready within the same day, but you are always trading ad spend for impressions. As soon as you turn off that ad spend, your impressions go to zero as well. So it's a much faster, and I would say typically more scalable process, but you're going to see less profit and less conversion rates compared to SEO. So the best worlds are going to combine both. But you also might find that some industries are more prone to being searched or discovered. If you have a product that is more in the lines of what is a commodity of something that people are already aware of, then typically Google and SEO is going to be more of your friend in the platforms that you're going to want to focus on. On the other hand, if you have a very innovative and unique product where there's a lot more education that comes with it, typically you need more of a visual structure for that. So I would be utilizing more Meta, TikTok, and even YouTube for that type of ad structure. For the best brands and the brands that are most serious about their growth, we're pursuing both. You always want to be playing the long-term game in terms of building out your equity and exposure via SEO. These are going to have better conversion points, and especially as more trends such as consumers searching more in AI, these conversion rates go even further up because of the trust that's embedded from an organic listing. So I always have some component focused on SEO, and the paid ads is going to be the multiplier in addition to that. Typically, if you have a very good offer that is already resonating resonating with the existing product market fit, using paid ads is going to be like adding kerosene on top of that fire to really help you scale it up. Here's an example of a brand we started working with on their SEO. Within the first 3 months, we were able to nearly 3x their revenue from doing 47K in average in organic revenue up to 113K. What's really powerful about SEO, and especially in businesses like this where they have a consumable product, is that these customers keep coming back. Anytime you have a consumable, such as in the beverage, cosmetic, makeup space, these customers can use the product and continue to use it. And so we really emphasize on that lifetime value and building that out for the business. The way we structure our SEO is there's really on 3 common components. You have the technical SEO, which typically you're resolving in about the first month. You have backlinks, which is an ongoing effort. And third, content. And so the way we structure our engagements is capturing all of those items. We're typically resolving all the technical stuff within the first month and then continuously having the cycle of backlink building and content creation. For our most aggressive packages, we have engagements up to 10K a month where we're just spending at least 50% of that or more on backlinks only. Even with our base plan, which starts at 3K a month, we're able to see immediate growth within the first 30 days to increase all the core metrics. I have deeper videos where you can go more in depth on our SEO strategy if you'd like to see that in another video. For the paid ad side, it's all about getting the unit economics right. You'd be surprised with how many businesses I see who are already even doing 6 or 7 figures who don't fully know their numbers. The most important equation of what you're ultimately looking at is the acquisition cost compared against the AOV and lifetime value of that customer. Once you really understand those numbers and your contribution margin, it gives you the full equation for how you can think about the cost that you can spend to acquire a customer. Because what you're going to need to do to fully build this out is have fully robust landing pages. You're going to have to start engaging in influencer marketing. You're going to have to really build out a whole comprehensive content funnel for both the ad content and overall structure of how you're bringing it to your demographics. And the best clients that we work with ultimately pursue multiple of these channels. So like with SmartFit, where we've added over $30 million to the revenue, this hasn't come from one channel. It's been a blended effort of SEO, paid ads, also CRO in different instances. Same thing with Tip Our Guy, where we've now added over $5 million within the first couple of years by focusing on paid ads and SEO and email. The best strategies are going to combine all of these efforts versus focusing on one singular thread. By the way, if you want to apply and have our team work you through this exact step framework, click on the link in the description below and apply for our team to give you a free custom audit for your store build out plan. The last piece of the framework is on the back side. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. And the best way I've seen brands do this is through bulletproof operations and systems at scale. It's the least sexy piece of the equation, but it's the most important for your overall profitability. The key components here are first starting with knowing your numbers. Again, this is where I see many brands just not know the key components for their contribution margins, the overall LTV, their current acquisition costs, and really understanding the cohorts of different customers of how they come in and their life cycle retention rate. This is where you're going to really need to get into the nitty-gritty with your CFO to understand these key figures, understanding your LTV, your AOV, your conversion rate, things like your contribution margin and the overall acquisition cost that you can spend to understand your complete funnel build out and what are the different levers that you need to focus on in that equation. Oftentimes, the logistics component can be some of your biggest cost savings, and that can come from having tighter systems, improved operational stream flow, looking at your order and fulfillment and logistics management. All those components collectively build up your overall profitability in your business. This is also where you need to double down on your winners. Typically, what we see with most brands is you'll have 1 or 2 channels really fully emerge. And while many business owners suffer with shiny object syndrome of wanting to jump to the next thing, very oftentimes you just need to go deeper on the existing strategies that are working. So a good example with this is paid ads. If you already have an existing funnel or framework that's working, I would double down on those angles and understanding that content, that overall landing page series, and that whole customer experience to making that more profitable. For SEO, same thing. If you're seeing existing traffic and channel sources come in, I would go deeper on that to really emphasize and build out your entrenchment in those areas versus jumping too soon to the next item. Same thing for looking at overall team costs and structures. What softwares are you using? What team infrastructure do you have in place? There are so many tools to help mitigate these costs and increase your overall profitability. Because if you have a 20% contribution margin versus a 40%, those are magnitudes of difference in terms of what you can spend in your acquisition funnel and set the whole framework for your growth engine. And so there you guys have it. That is our overview of the growth framework we use to scale brands to 8 figures and beyond. If you would like a custom audit for your business, please click on the link below in the description, apply for an audit. If you're fit, our team will reach out and give you a custom build out plan for how you can scale your business to 8 figures. Happy scaling, everyone. Stay tuned for the next video.